manjari pada, Jai mora sampada, Jai mora bhajana pujana, Jai mora bhajana pujana, Jai moro pranadhana, Jai moro avarana, Jai mora pranadhana, Jai mora avarana, Jai mora jivanera jivana, Jai mora jivanera jivana, Jai moro rasanidhi, Jai moro vanchasiri, Jai mora rasanidhi, Jai mora vanchasiri, Jai mora vedera dharama, Jai mora vedera dharama, Jai brata jai tapa, Jai mantra japa, Jai brata jai tapa, Jai mora mantra japa, Jai mora dharma karama, Jai mora dharma karama, Anukula have vidhi, Jai pade hoibe siddhi, Anukula have vidhi, Jai pade hoibe siddhi, Nirakiva eduri nayane, Nirakiva eduri nayane, Rupa madhuri rati, Prana kuvalaya sati, Apolita have nitidine, Prafulita have nitidine, Duadarshanayi, Varale jarala dehi, Duadarshanayi, Varale jaralo dehi, Viradina tapita jivana, Virodina tapita jivana, Maharupa karodaya, Deho more podachaya, Aharupa karodaya, Deho more padchaya, Narottama Lila Sarana, Narottama Lila Sarana, Hare Kṛṣṇa Hare Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa Kṛṣṇa Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Kṛṣṇa Hare Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa Kṛṣṇa Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Kṛṣṇa Hare Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa Kṛṣṇa Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Kṛṣṇa Hare Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa Kṛṣṇa Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare,
Hare Kṛṣṇa, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa Kṛṣṇa, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Śrī Rūpa Mandari Pata ki,
Jai,
Rūpa Gosvāmī Rūpa Gosvāmī ji ki,
Jai,
Upadeśāmṛta ki.
Jai.
So, my dear devotees, welcome everyone. Today is Pratipad. Yesterday we had Snan Purnima. Today is Pratipad. Any Vaiṣṇava Acharya Tithi today? Anybody knows? The text 2, Nectar of Instruction. Atyaharaha prayasasya pragalpo niyamagraha jana sangasya laulyasya sarvir bhaktir vinasyati. One's devotional service is spoiled when he becomes too entangled in the following 6 activities: eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than required, over-endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain, talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matters, practicing the scriptural rules and regulations only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement, or rejecting the rules and regulations of the scriptures and working independently or whimsically, associating with worldly-minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness, being greedy for mundane achievements. So we are going to read Prabhupada's purport on each aspect. Yesterday we just touched a little bit about Atyahara, and where Prabhupada very clearly said the current modus operandi of economic development based on creating artificial necessities of life and creating demand based on factory production and heavy advertisement, and it's not going to last. And this is what we are seeing with the effect of coronavirus. So the simple way of economic development is produce more food, more milk, more fruits, maintain the nature so that we can have unpolluted or unadulterated water as well as air. So this is, but this atyahara, greedy, has destroyed us. The greed within us has created an artificial economic system. And the point is that how, yes, we are in an artificial system. The question is that how we can reconcile through our spiritual way of life with the modern context. So this is a challenge. Someone has written Pavan Goyal, Sri Shyamananda Pandit Prabhu, Shyamananda Prabhu of disappearance day. This is very, very wonderful. Shyamananda Prabhu, I hope this is Saint Shyamananda and Srinivasacharya and Narottam Das Thakur, the trio, who preached in a massive way and delivering millions and billions back to Godhead. Srila Shyamananda Pandit ki jai. So now let us read. We can start with who are in the top, people who have not. Anybody who has not read can read today. Tarun has not read, Bipul Arora has not read, Sandeep Gupta has not read, Sachin Sahu has not read. Can you all please read? Start quickly. Human life is meant for God realization. Text 2, page
Hare
number.
Krishna, sir.
Ah,
Should I read?
please.
Human life is meant for God realization, and the human being is given higher intelligence for this purpose. Those who believe that this higher intelligence is meant to attain a higher state should follow the instruction of Vedic literatures. By taking such instructions from higher authorities, one can actually become situated in perfect knowledge and give real meaning to life. In Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.9, Śrī Rūpa Gosvāmī describes the proper human dharma in this way. धर्मस्य हि अपवर्गस्य न अर्थो अर्थायो कल्पते न अर्थायस्य धर्मैकन्तस्य कामलभय हि स्मृता. All occupational engagements, dharma, are certainly meant for ultimate liberation. They should never be performed for material gain. Furthermore, one who is engaged in the ultimate occupational service, dharma, should never use material gain to cultivate sense gratification. So should I continue, sir?
Okay, so thank you, Sachin, for reading. So human life is meant for God realization, and for that reason, Śrīla Prabhupada is saying that we are given higher intelligence to be able to understand that we are meant for self-realization. And so what is meaning of that we can understand higher intelligence, that we have higher intelligence? That means we follow the authority. We take instructions from authority. We establish spiritual connection with sadhu, guru and shastra. So spiritual connection is something very, very important. If we don't have spiritual connection, then our heart will be filled with emptiness, voidness. And most of the time, the lack of spiritual consciousness can drive us towards Mayavadism and personalism. And can also take us to depression. And spiritual life is a joyful process. And how that joyful process can be released? The joyful process can be released when we establish a spiritual connection. And this is exactly he's saying, by taking such instruction from higher authorities, one can actually become situated in perfect knowledge and giving real meaning to life. Jai Shri Shri Lakshmi Nrsimha Bhagwan ki, Śrīla Kṛṣṇa ki, Śrī Radha-raman ki. So my dear friends, this spiritual connection is so important, right? And what is meaning of that I have higher intelligence? Higher intelligence means I establish spiritual relations, spiritual connection. Just like materialistics are interested to establish material connections, similarly, spiritualists, they must establish spiritual connection. Okay? And all our spiritual connections, the center is Krishna. There is no problem. I may have thousands of connections, but since Krishna is the center, there will be no complexity in the life. In fact, life will become very sublime. And this spiritual connection we are supposed to establish. So, this verse 1.2.9 which is given here, Dharmasya hi apavarga. Pavarga is the mundane life. Pa, pa, ba, ba, ma. Pa is parishrama. Pa, pa, pena. Ba, ba is ba, 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 bha is bhaya. Ma is mrityu. Pa, pa, ba, ba, ma. So what I said? Ba. Ba is what?
Ya.
Eh?
Pa pha ba bha ma ya ra la. Ya ra la.
Pa varga means pa, pha, ba, bha, ma. That's all. That is pa varga. So, our professor Ravi Prakash is saying ba means bandhan. So, parishrama, we work very hard like donkeys. Pa means fena. When you work hard, the foam will come out from your mouth. And then ba, bandhan, you are bound to this cycle of birth and death. Bha, you are always full of fear. And ma, finally, everything is devoured by mrityu, death. So this is pavarga. Dharma means we have to transcend the pavarga. The dharma's paribhasa or language has to be apavarga. It transcends the pavarga. Right? So this dharma, which is apavarga, cannot be, this dharma cannot be directed for such gratification or material profit, material gain. One should be always engaged in the ultimate occupational service. We all have occupational service, but ultimate occupational service that we are servant of Krishna. All occupational service is a service, right? Somebody is Kshatriya, so he is serving. One is Brahmana, he is serving. One as a Sudra, one is serving. So everybody is serving. But ultimate occupational service is we must serve Krishna. Okay. So this is the essence of dharma. So next we will read.
Sir, can I read? Hare Krishna.
Tarun, please.
The first step in human civilization consists of occupational engagements performed according to the scriptural injunctions. The higher intelligence of a human being should be trained to understand basic dharma. In human society, there are various religious conceptions characterized as Hindu, Christian, Hebrew, Mohammedan, Buddhist, and so on. For without religion, human society is no better than animal society. As stated above, dharmasya hi apavargasya artho nardhartayo pakalpate. Religion is meant for attaining emancipation, not for getting bread. Sometimes human society manufactures a system of so-called religion aimed at material advancement, but that is far from the purpose of true dharma. Religion entails understanding the laws of God because the proper execution of these laws ultimately leads one out of material entanglement. That is the true purpose of religion. Unfortunately, people accept religion for material prosperity because of atyahara or an excessive desire for such prosperity. True religion, however, instructs people to be satisfied with the bare necessities of life while cultivating Krishna consciousness. Even though we require economic development, the true religion allows it only for supplying the bare necessities of material existence. Jivasya tattva jignasa. The real purpose of life is to inquire about the absolute truth. If our endeavor, prayasa, is not to inquire about the absolute truth, we will simply increase our endeavor to satisfy our artificial needs. a spiritual aspirant should avoid mundane behavior.
Okay, thank you very much. So we ended this section on Atyahara. Okay, so what is Atyahara? And Prabhupada gave a complete perspective. So what he said, he started with the statement that that everything that is necessary for us is provided by God, Krishna. We must know what is our quota and just be satisfied with that. And here, the economic development, dharma, and then that gives us to artha. And Prabhupada is explaining that if we follow Apavarga dharma, then the bare necessities of life will be always provided to everyone. We are not here to create artificial necessities of life. Then we'll be completely sidetracked from the real goal of human life. The real goal of human life is to make Krishna as the center of our life. So if we enter into the zone of Atyahara, which is born out of greed, and greed is a manifestation of our ignorance, then there is no end to Atyahara. Even after having 10 bungalows for you, you still think I have only 10. Why not I built the 11th one? Even if you get 1 degree, you say, I have 1, why can't I have another 10 degrees? Even if you get 1 hour, you start thinking, why can't I get another 10 hours? Greed has no end to it. It is unending. Greed is an unending process. And this is actually the hallmark of the current civilization. We are all suffering from greed, and current civilization has become kaput or dysfunctional because of this unbounded greed that we have within. Each one of us, we are suffering from this greed. Sansara dava nalalita lo. The blazing forest fire in the form of greed is burning us, is consuming us. And hence, the so-called Atyahara is only aiding to this forest fire. Just like when ghee put into the fire, it only helps to fire to spread further. So this greed has, Prabhupada used to tell, there is enough for everyone's need in this nature, but there is not enough for one man's greed. Okay, so anybody has any comment on this until now? Prabhupada just introduced what is Atyahara and very much emphasized, first of all, that as a human life, if we don't understand that we have a goal, goal is to have attainment of Krishna consciousness. Yeah,
No comments.
somebody is saying sorry.
No, some wrong message came.
Ah,
How to know what is my quota?
Panda. How to know what is your quota? Your quota is 2 chapatis. That is your quota. Your quota is 2 chapatis, Bhagwan. What else you want? So you say, I want to get married. So 2 plus 2, 4 chapatis. I will have up to 12 children. Fine, 12 into 2, 24 plus 4, 28 chapatis. Anybody else? I would like, people making some comments, what you realized until now. Not simply ask question. Give certain input in terms of your understanding until now about Atyahara, the way Prabhupada started with the concept of the Mahatma, and then he talked about Trivida Klesa, how becoming Duratma we suffer from Trivida Klesa, and Prabhupada said the real problem of this world is that because of greed we are creating artificial needs, artificial demands, and we are suffering, and we are actually involved in natural disaster and so forth. And finally he said, when we follow the path of Apavarga, then we will be satisfied with the bare minimum necessities of life. Anybody wants to make any comment based on this? You can put in the chat box, or you can also directly speak. Okay, so if you don't have any comment, you can put in. Suppose you are writing, you can go on writing. Let us we continue our reading. So who is the next person? I told Vipul. Vipul, Professor Vipul. Is it there?
Another
Vipul is there.
Yes. Hare Krishna, sir.
Hare Krishna.
Another impediment is prajalpa, unnecessary talking. When we mix with a few friends, we immediately begin unnecessary talking, sounding just like croaking toads. If we must talk, we should talk about the Krishna consciousness movement. Those outside of the Krishna consciousness movement are interested in reading heaps of newspapers, magazines, and novels, solving crossword puzzles, and doing many other nonsensical things. In this fashion, people simply waste their valuable time and energy. In the Western countries, old men retired from active life play cards, fish, watch television, and debate about useless socio-political schemes. All these and other frivolous activities are included in the Prajalpa category. Intelligent persons interested in Krishna consciousness should never take part in such activities.
So Prajalpa. Thank you very much, Professor Vipul Arora. So for the first time I'm seeing him in Zoom, right? Okay. So Professor Vipul Arora, thank you. What is your comment from this paragraph? So next time when you read a paragraph, you should also make a comment about the paragraph before we start, or leave the floor for others to come in and join. See, we are discussing. I don't want this nectar of instruction to go, I speak only and you hear. No. I purposefully wanted this to be a discussion. And many devotees voluntarily, enthusiastically should come in and put forth their view, so that there is a churning of nectar. So this is my approach in this particular thing, Nectar of Instruction. Because it's a very small book and we can afford to do this, and that is why we are doing it. So please, Vipul Arora, give your comments first.
Here is said that when we come together, we have a tendency to speak, and mostly we discuss unnecessary things like about current events and about unnecessary things. But devotees, when they come together, they discuss about Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada is giving various examples of what things people generally do which are in Prajalpa category.
You should also add your own realization, if you have any. Others who would like to make a comment about Prajalpa? Anybody, please come enthusiastically, You have to make a point, please make a point.
Sir, Hare Kṛṣṇa, sir, Dandavat Pranam.
Santosh. Please speak. What is happening? Are you speaking?
Sir, yes, sir. So actually, in Bhagavatam, in the second canto, there is like related to this one thing comes. Vidagdha Gosvāmī says when just like croaking toads, like they invite a snake, and then the snake will come and eat. So this example is very much applicable. So those who are there is also one more shloka, Uttama shloka varte. Just like when sun. In the duration of one's life, when sun sets and rises, that one's life is taken away. But one who is engaged in hearing about the Uttama Shloka Varta, matlab hearing about the Krishna conscious topics, their life is not taken away. So this is very much applicable in the category of Prajalpa. Also one more shloka, also I remember, sir. So Machita Madgata Prana. So instead of when what one, here it is said, they discuss about nonsensical things. So many things are mentioned here, but what should devotees do? Machita Madgata Prana Bodhyanta Parasparam. They discuss mutually about Krishna conscious topics and then encourage each other, and by that they relish happiness. Bodhyanta Parasparam.
Very good. Very wonderful input from Santosh Prabhu. Anybody else about Prajalpa?
Hare Kṛṣṇa, sir.
Radhakant.
Sir, like Santosh was saying, it's ideal, but what I have generally seen is that in devotee community also, when we meet, we hardly talk about Krishna Katha. Mostly we are discussing about some issues, problems, or some kind of thing which we can justify to be connected to service. But we actually never directly talk about any Krishna Katha or what we heard or read. So how to encourage this culture?
I didn't invite questions at this moment. I wanted discussion.
Yeah, I mean this discussion that what I've generally we tend to just discuss about different issues, problems, but we don't hear Krishna Katha or discuss. Ideally, that should be done.
Yeah, there are some, of course, devotees, they face certain problems. That problems they can always talk about and get guidance. That is not a harm. But the point is that majority of our problems are in mundane realm. And these mundane problems are never sorted out. Never. No mundane problem can be sorted out. Two people together, the modes will interact, and then there will be disagreement always. This is the nature of this world. So that is why we work for a common purpose. And when we work for a common purpose, there will be issues. And we sort out that issues by through discussion. Those are all Krishna conscious. Suppose you are building a temple, and money would come, this would come, how labor would come. So all those discussions are also spiritual topics. They should not be, we should not think that it is not spiritual. If that is assigned to somebody as a service, that is a spiritual topic. Okay? And beyond that, we need to discuss. We have to chant nicely. We have to, as Santosh pointed out, very nice thing that with every sunset, we lose one day. The Chitragupta is actually deleting one day from our from our lifetime. But if we have used that whole day in describing the Uttama Sloka or making arrangement how to describe Uttama Sloka, then obviously, we have saved that day. Yeah. Any other input?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, this is Piyush here.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, I just remembered one statement by His Holiness Bhakti Tirth Maharaj, where he mentioned that we should treat every transaction of ours as a last transaction, in the sense that whosoever we talk to could possibly be our last conversation in this current life. So from that perspective, just adding to that is, if let's say our last conversation is about some random mundane topic or about criticizing someone, and if that happens to be the last conversation, that would be such a disaster for what we are working on. So this statement really means a lot, in the sense that if you're always talking about Krishna, or at least endeavoring to, maybe if that moment becomes the last moment, we'll have a better chance to remember Krishna at the time of death.
That is a good. This is a good input. That in fact, there is a Dr. Swagatam Das. He works. He is a faculty member in ISI, in Indian Statistical Institute in Kolkata. It's a very reputed institute. And suddenly, he told me this. What is a series of book by Bhakti-tirtha Swami? This.
Spiritual warrior, sir.
Spiritual warrior. One more focusing on that. Is that spiritual
Black
warrior?
Lotus.
And black. Hello?
Black Lotus, sir. Beggar series is also there, sir.
Beggar series.
Beggar series.
Okay. And he was so moved by those beggar series books. He says, I'm an avid reader of these things. Right? So thank you for reminding us about Bhakti-tirtha Maharaj. Okay. So I think somebody has put in the chat. Can you see? Avai Chaitanya. One thing that strikes me from discussion of Hatyara is that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is our only friend, and there is no other friend like him, but doesn't register within us. I was just meditating on this point and felt that I'm not able to follow Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sincerely because I have not yet registered with me that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is my only friend. That is because of you don't establish spiritual connection. Spiritual connection. Now recently, we made a one point, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, there are faithless people all around, holy name, the Harinam Chintamani. And what is the process of making them faithful?
Sankirtan and Prasadam.
Sankirtan and Prasadam distribution. This is what Mahaprabhu said. We don't discuss intimate topic with a general populace. Just Sankirtan and distribute Prasadam. And yesterday I was really astounded. One person told me that this, we distributed Prasadam during this lockdown period. And this person said, this is a material activity, this is a mundane activities, and it is a waste of time. It should not have been done. I was wonderstruck. So why this happens? Because we don't establish spiritual connection. Prasadam distribution anytime is good. People are eating sin. You are giving them prasadam, that is the best is happening. And somebody says this is just nuisance. Means what can you say? This is simply no spiritual connection. So when you don't establish a spiritual connection, my dear friend, you can't feel Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is your friend, Krishna is your friend. It is so important for establishing spiritual connection. Like one simple example, I appreciated, there is a very good book, you people can read it. And this book is written by Tripurari Maharaj, Tripurari Swami. This is called Guru and Grace. Guru and His Grace. Guru and His Grace. It's a beautiful book. I would recommend everybody to read that book. Sri Guru and His Grace. It is so important to understand, because without that spiritual connection, we will not feel that Krishna is my best friend. Yesterday we talked about Bandhu Mahanti. How could he say that I have only one friend? I know. Normally when you are in trouble, you go and, look for that person's help, that person's help, that person's help. At the end, you may think about Krishna. Right? So how that happens? Because we are spiritually connected. So, yes, so this is very, very important. Next.
You may.
Who will?
Atiku is saying he wants to read.
Atish, please read.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hmm.
Janasanga refers to associating with person not interested in Krishna consciousness. One should strictly avoid such association. Śrīla Narottam Das Thakur has therefore advised us to live only in association of Krishna conscious devotees. One should always engage in the service of the Lord in the association of the Lord devotees. Association with those engaged in a similar line of business is very conducive to advancement in that business. Consequently, materialistic persons form various associations and clubs to enhance their endeavors. For example, in the business world, we find such institutions as the stock exchange and chamber of commerce. Similarly, we have established the International Society for Krishna Consciousness to give people an opportunity to associate with those who have not forgotten Krishna. This spiritual association offered by our ISKCON movement is increasing day by day. Many people from different parts of the world are joining this society to awaken their dormant Krishna consciousness.
Very good.
So I would like to share my experience also.
Please.
When I have completed my PhD from IIT Bombay and I joined IIT Kanpur. So Venkatesh Prabhu was the neighborer in that accommodation of God. I had a lot of questions. So one day I asked him a question. So he told me that there is a workshop going on Bhagavad Gita. You just attend. And from that day I started attending the class. In the first class, you told about that 4 prohibited action. And within a fraction of second, I don't know, I was a non-vegetarian. Sometimes I drink alcohol also. But within a fraction of second, I gave up non-vegetarian and alcohol. So that is the realizations I had. Also, I understood when I spent 1 year in IIT Kanpur. I attend regular Saturday classes in the campus. I had an association with you and other devotees. So I understood the importance of devotees, the association of devotees and their thought process. So otherwise, इसके पहले I was just engaging in the discussions, where is God, how is God, is there any proof, and foolish discussion. So association of good teachers and devotees are very important in one life, and from that day my life has been changed a lot, and I am enjoying this sattvic life compared to that life. So that is my experience.
Thank you, artist. Thank you for your enthusiasm. It touched my heart when you said you wanted to read. I would like people here to come forward. I don't have to tell that you come and read. People should say, open your mic, unmute and say, sir, I am speaking. That is a very nice thing, because then it encourages me that you are enthusiastic. It is not people are, why you are not speaking? Ajay Gudla, why you are not speaking? This is too bad. People should come forward and speak enthusiastically. And
Other
also,
experience I would like to share, sir.
Hmm.
When I was very interested to do service at home, so one day I am appointed as a server service to do in the morning at 6 o'clock. So I am very excited. I was very excited, and I woke up at 3 o'clock, took a bath and prepared myself, wear the white kurta and dhoti, and came to house. And suddenly one Prabhuji told me, just clean the floor. So I thought I woke up at 3 o'clock and he is telling me this service. So within a fraction of time, whatever the ego I had, that ego got crushed. No, we are all here the same. And from that day, whatever the arrogance I had, I am a qualified PhD from IIT Bombay, whatever research I am doing, that is, I am doing only. And that ego within a fraction of second got crushed. And from that day I understood the importance of Prabhuji, why we called everyone Prabhuji. So everyone is equal, everyone is the part of the Krishna only. So that was the one very heart touching experience I had, and from that day I never think on like that.
Very good, artist, very good. It was so nice to see that. This reminded me also, Prabhupada Maharaj in one class told, it's a long, because in 94, 93, 95, these are the classes. And you see that I still remember all those things. So this is the beauty, initial classes are so profound. The Prabhupada Maharaj was telling, Sadaputa Prabhu, Richard, what is his name? Richard Thompson, Richard Thompson. He's a PhD from Cornell. PhD from a Cornell is not an ordinary, and a white having a PhD from a Cornell is very, very tough thing to do. And when he joined temple, he was given pot cleaning. And so it is not an issue. So he did pot cleaning. Okay? And he would do it sparkling clean. He do sparkling clean. And when I first time went to Kolan temple after reaching Germany, of course nobody knew who I am, right? I am a great Lila Purushottam Das, ex-faculty of BITS Palani, ex-scientist of Bhakti-rasāmṛta Institute, nothing, right? So I just went and told that, I'm so happy to see all of you, and I'll be, because I'm staying in St. Augustine, I cannot come every day, but I will come on weekend, and particularly Sunday, give me some service. And somebody said, yes, we have a lot of, on Sunday, we have a lot of pots to clean. So please. So we cleaned. But those are not shocking for us, because we know that everything in Krishna's service is absolute right. And you see that from there, they gave me plot cleaning, and from there I became their regular cook. And 4 months I took care of the Kolan temple. So service is service. So what is Jana Sangha? Jana Sangha can destroy us. Association of newspaper, association of TV, association of mobile, association of, materialistic people, Janasangha. They have, we learned in Harinam Chintamani, there are two categories of Janasangha. One category of Janasangha is those associating, having an illicit connection with opposite sex, and associating with those who have illicit connection with opposite sex. This is one category of Janasangha. And the second category of Janasangha is to associate with Mayavadis, associate with atheists, associate with Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhu. In fact, India's very rotten state, India, the way is rotting is not because of atheism or Mayavadism. I would say it is more the Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhu. Mayavadism also is another great responsible for the very unfortunate situation of India. But Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhu, there are so many. So people are completely put under ignorance by these Babas, and everybody has taken shelter of some Baba. It is not that nobody. Everybody has taken shelter of some Baba. They will not accept God, they will not accept Krishna, they will not accept Bhagavad Gita, but they will accept a Baba.
Again,
So
sir, I
this,
am very much impressed from your lifestyle. That is why I didn't buy a TV at my home up till now. And I used to spend much more time with my kids and family, and spending the time to learn Bhagavad Gita. So you remember Aryan? Aryan was very small, and you have gave him a certificate for attending the classes. So now he can read the verse number 1 from Bhagavad Gita if you allow. He is with me actually.
yeah, please, Aryan, please recite.
Can I start video?
Yeah. Aryan, Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा
बोलो.
धृतराष्ट्र उवाच धर्मक्षेत्रे कुरुक्षेत्रे समवेतायुयुत्सवा मामका पाण्डवा चैव किम कुर्वत संजय.
Any other verse you want to repeat? You want to recite?
धृतराष्ट्र उवाच धर्मक्षेत्रे कुरुक्षेत्रे समवेतायुयुत्सवा मामका पाण्डवा चैव किम कुर्वत संजय.
और एक वर्ष बोलो.
He is listening. Can you repeat it?
Speak another verse.
He is confused. He is confused. He is just learning. He is.
Okay. You memorize 10.8, 10.9, 10.10, 10.11.
Okay.
You memorize, and next time you tell. Okay,
Yes,
everybody will hear.
Okay.
Chapter 10, verse number 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you very much, Aryan. Lord bless you. Okay.
Thank you.
So next paragraph.
Hare Krishna sir, Dhanapranam sir. Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes in his Anuvritti commentary that too much endeavor to acquire knowledge on the part of dry philosophers fall within the category of atyahara, collecting more than needed. According to Srimad Bhagavatam, the endeavor of philosophical speculators to write volumes of books on dry philosophy devoid of Krishna consciousness is entirely futile. The word of karmis who write volumes of books on economic development also falls within the category of atyahara. Similarly, those who have no desire for Krishna consciousness and who are simply interested in pursuing more and more material things, either in the shape of scientific knowledge or monetary gain, are all included under the control of atyahara.
Very, very nice paragraph you read. Very profound meaning it has. Can you speak some comment about this paragraph? Sudhir? Can you bring that book by Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhu? The book, Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhu.
Like, apart from Krishna consciousness, apart from Krishna consciousness, what like if we want to gain more knowledge, unnecessary knowledge, this is also atyahara.
Okay. So anybody else would like to make a comment on this chapter and this paragraph? Please. You heard. Please come forward.
Sir, I just remembered one shloka from Brahma Samhita which we heard recently, that Pantastu Koti Shatavatsara Sampragamyo. So those people who simply speculate, they only at most they can reach the like outskirts of the tip of the toe of the Lord. So because atyahara is unfavorable for devotional service, so I felt that this also comes under the category, because that does not lead to the lotus feet of Krishna.
Okay. Good. Excellent.
Hare Krishna. So I also remembered that you often say that only Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya and Bhagavad Gita is enough. So as devotees also, we should not try to read more, or acquiring more knowledge is also atyahara. It's a very profound definition there. Atyahara doesn't mean only accumulating material things, but also knowledge not connected to Krishna.
Good. Yes. Thank you, Radhakant. Thank you, Sudhir. One or two more comment on this.
Hare Kṛṣṇa, sir, from this Pawan.
Pawan.
So even for the last verse and also in this verse, the point about urge to speak, prajalpa in here, I'm finding a lot of connection that. So remember, like first time when I used to come to your house for Srimad Bhagavatam, this first canto, 5th chapter was going on. And this was the verse that I remember this word, Vaiṣṇavas, that you explained very nicely, that I always remember. So this, we are always after Vaiṣṇavas, and very rarely we take interest in the spiritual topics. And nowadays, this Vaiṣṇavas, all this social media, you were talking about mobiles, and whenever we are in Facebook or anywhere, social media, it's all Vaiṣṇavas that we are always reading, and yeah, this was the comment.
Actually, we have a big role to play, because the social media, everybody is going. We have to plot the social media with the message of Krishna consciousness. Just like Prabhupada and Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhu gave emphasis on printing books. And I think that now time has come that we should actually plot social media also with the Krishna conscious literature. It is very important. And I think the Learn Gita, Live Gita is an endeavor in right direction. I think Mayank Madhusudan Mukundas has to do a lot. I don't know how he is sleeping very blissfully. He should not even able to sleep. Such a big mandate is there for him. Okay, so now I'll read here. This is one of my favorite, very, very favorite. This is a letter from Bhaktivinoda Thakur to Saraswati. Let me tell you what is spiritual connection. Here you see Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhu Thakur, they are father and son. But Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhu Thakur never considered Bhaktivinoda Thakur as father. He considered him as a teacher, acharya. So he made a spiritual connection. This is very, very important. When we take some, for granted, then we lose this ability to be connected spiritually. So here you see the letter. I have read many, many times, and most of you know this, and I'm reading it again, and particularly on the appearance day of Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhu Thakur, I normally read it. But here it's Saraswati, the Bhaktivinoda Thakur, is addressing his own son, as Saraswati. People of this world who are proud of their own aristocratic birth cannot attain real aristocracy. Therefore, they attack the pure Vaishnavas, saying they have taken birth in low-class families because of their sins. Because of their sins. Even you go to Vrindavan, the so-called Brahmins would say that you are born Vanya, Sudra, because of your sin. Only when you are born in a Brahmin family, and then you are eligible to talk about Krishna, to worship Krishna. So much of arrogance they have. Thus, they commit offenses. The solution to this problem is to establish the order of Varnāśrama-dharma, something you have started doing. So here, there is an instruction by Bhaktivinoda Thakur to Saraswati Thakur to establish Varnāśrama-dharma. And this is the sole reason for me to take up the Jharkhand project. Otherwise, I am very happy speaking about Krishna consciousness. I can write books, plot, social media with Krishna conscious literature. Plot means whatever we have, there are so many of you are helping me. The one person who is really doing a great job is Abhishek Pansal. I want to talk to him. I told him to call me, he has not called me. But this is something, this inspiration is from this particular, even the Gurukula community that we started, again is based on this, established the Varnāśrama system. Okay, and this is not my instruction. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, for next 10,000 years, Bhaktivinoda Dhara will never end. So one Paramahamsa is telling that Bhaktivinoda Dhara, the line of disciplic succession that is empowered by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, will never end. This is a very profound statement. So you should know that to be real. You should know that to be the real service to the Vaiṣṇavas. Real service to the Vaiṣṇavas. Daivi Varnāśrama. Because pure devotional conclusions are not being preached, all kinds of superstitions and bad concepts are being called devotion by such pseudo sampradayas as Sahajiyas and Ativari. Please always crush these anti-devotional concepts by preaching pure devotional conclusions and by setting an example through your personal conduct. Personal conduct. This is so important for us. Please make great efforts so you can start parikrama of Sri Dham Navadip as soon as possible. Gaur-mandal parikrama. I think that all of you should join Gaur-mandal parikrama. Okay. It is by those actions that everyone in this world will receive Krishna Bhakti, devotional love for the Lord. Please try very hard to make sure the service to Sri Mayapur will become a permanent thing and will become brighter and brighter every day. The real service to Sri Mayapur can be done by acquiring printing presses, distributing devotional books, and Sankirtana, preaching. Please do not neglect to serve Sri Mayapur or to preach for sake of your own reclusive bhajan. I repeat this. Please do not neglect to serve Sri Mayapur or to preach for the sake of your own reclusive bhajan. When I am not present anymore, please take great care to serve Sri Mayapur Dham, which is so dear to you. Avito Mayapur, so much development after ISKCON came. Can you imagine when Bhaktivinoda Thakur is writing this? Beyond some hearts, there will be nothing in Mayapur. Just like, when our new land in Gurukul campus we took, nobody was interested to go there. I have to stay there, then I have to attract, I have to impress upon Srinivas Krishna, please come and stay here. And then Madhusudan Mukund, he stayed. There is nothing. And when now everything is developed, and others, everybody will come. This is mine, this is mine. So this is what Sri Mayapur Dham, those days, nothing was there. Some fishermen, some huts, some Muslims, nothing beyond that. But as far as Bhaktivinoda Thakur is concerned, this is the highest abode. Highest abode. Mayapur Dham is the highest abode for us. This is my special instruction to you. People who are like animals can never attain devotion. Therefore, never take their suggestions. But do not let them know this directly or indirectly. People who are like animals can never attain devotion. Therefore, never take their suggestion. When I conducted first Harinam Sankirtan in 2012, October, in the new land, there was nothing in the new land except that, I told Radha Khan to build one house, and that's all we had. And there one collector came and he said, this is a waste of time. Why you have taken this? This is not a place to do a project. And that fellow is sitting and seeing. Hundreds of devotees are, chanting and dancing. And I don't think that 2012 Harinam Kirtan that happened in our new land, it's a 12-hour Kirtan. A better thing can ever happen in that land. It was so beautiful, so wonderful. But, in front of Sachinandan Maharaj and me, he's talking nonsense, I didn't listen to him. They don't have vision. We are not here to listen to these idiots just because they are DM or this or that. I had a special desire to preach the significance of such books as Srimad Bhagavatam, Sat Sandarbha and Vedanta Darshana. You have to accept that responsibility. Sri Mayapur will prosper if you establish an educational institution there. Never make an effort to collect knowledge or money for your own enjoyment. Only to serve the Lord, you will collect these things. Never engage in bad association, either for money or for some self-interest. I don't know whether a father is writing to a son or an acharya is writing to another acharya. Hare Kṛṣṇa. I think we should stop here. Any comment? Sudhir wants to read. My dear friend, we have already finished. Any other? Sudhir, you will read tomorrow.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, this is Piyush. Prabhuji, you mentioned about Devi Varnashram at several times, but I think like me or maybe some of us may not be clear exactly what all it entails. We do understand Jharkhand project is one part of it. Does it go beyond a community-based project also? I mean, what exactly are the dimensions of this Varnashram? Maybe today or sometime, if you could just elaborate on it, it would be very helpful for us who are involved in such endeavors.
Devi Varnashram means we establish a self-sufficient spiritual community. Self-sufficient spiritual community. that we will not be looking for donation. That is Daivi Varna. The moment we look for donation, this is no more Varnasrama. So we have temples that we collect, So, like recently, Government of India is establishing TIH, Technological Innovation Hub. So what Government of India is saying, that we'll give you seed money in the beginning, some 100 crores, 150 crores or so forth. So for next 5 years, we'll give only 150 crores for every innovation hub. And then Government of India is expecting that after 5 years, this will be self-sufficient. We should be able to generate its own fund. It should be able to generate a new product, new manufacturing. So similarly, these Daivi Varnasrama institutions are institutions where we mostly focus centered around cow, land, educational institute, and it should be self-sufficient. We should not beg for donation. In the beginning, of course, to establish this, we will have some donation. Just like Government of India is giving some seed money, but later we should be, and this is where you failed very big way, Piyush Sehgal. Piyush, I'm completely forgetting your spiritual name. I have to habituate it. What is your spiritual name?
Prabhuji, Param Karuna Madhav Das.
Param Karuna?
Madhav Das.
The Madhav. So Param Karuna Madhav. So Madhav. Maybe Madhav is best way. Param Karuna Madhav to speak is too much. Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Is that clear?
Prabhuji, this is one part which is not clear. Is Devi Varnashram limited to a physical space? Because there's so many people who are involved in businesses and various other occupations outside that land who are connected to ISKCON. So how do they get connected to this entire journey?
They get connected because we will have the platform for them to come and stay with us, live with us. And then if they are inspired, they will be inspired, and they will be told, you please establish another kind of community like this. But we need to build such community. We don't have. We don't have. Throughout India, throughout the world, we don't have. We don't have a self-sufficient community until now. Okay. So thank you very much.
Prabhuji, hello. Hello. Prabhuji, a few days back, there was an incident of elephant death in Kerala.
Yeah, very bad.
And there is a one WhatsApp group of my batchmates. So actually, all people are expressing their sympathy about that event. So, and those who are non-vegetarian also. So I told them, if you are giving sympathy on the death of elephant, then why don't you have a sympathy on the death of other animals also? And I encourage them. I encourage them for the vegetarian.
Very nice point you made. Very nice point you made. There are people here, those who are dog lovers. They don't want dogs to be killed. But they eat chicken, they eat goat.
Right, sir.
Right. So this is all duplicitous thing.
So I encourage them.
So we have to remove lot of ignorance from the people, and hopefully, let us see. Okay, so we are getting late. Tomorrow, today evening, we will meet again. Hare Krishna, thank you very much for participating in the discussion. I would like, please come prepared. Read the chapter on your own and be enthusiastic to come to share your own realization. And that way, because I'm not here, I'm trying to make Nectar of Instruction as I am going to speak and you people are here. No, I want this to be you people always speaking, and I want to, give me some pleasure of hearing. So this is my begging to all of you, that I want to hear from all of you. Hare Krishna.